So guys, they just released the PlayStation 5 Pro, and the new look looks like a combination between the PS5 and the PS3, and it looks like it will get higher gaming performance, etc. So let us just see what Sony has to say about it, and let us just see what it looks like.
The full specs of the PS5 Pro have been leaked, and they look extremely impressive, with over 3 times the performance of the PS5. Here's everything we know in terms of its performance. First of all, how do we know that this leak is even legit? Well, it was originally posted by leaker Moore's Law is Dead, who got his hands on some official Sony documents that were apparently sent to third-party developers that already had the PS5 Pro dev kits. And these documents seem to showcase the full specs for Project Trinity, the codename for the PS5 Pro. Info then got corroborated by both IGN and Tom Henderson from Insider Gaming, who is by far the most reliable source when it comes to PlayStation leaks. Now, Sony has also started investigating this leak, which adds even more credibility to this entire leak. It used the exact same AMD Jaguar CPU as the PS4, but with faster clock speeds, in that case by 31%. The real improvement with a PS5 Pro though is when it comes to the GPU. The PS5 Pro seems to have a total GPU compute power of 33.5 teraflops, which is a massive increase and an even more substantial GPU improvement than that of the PS4 Pro, which was 2.28 times faster than the PS4, at least when it comes to teraflops. Sony is only referring to a 45% faster rendering performance compared to the PS5. Still, even that is a pretty substantial increase, as aside from just the raw performance, we are also getting some other benefits too. For example, the actual ray tracing performance is said to be 2 to 3 times higher than that of the PS5, sometimes even as high as 4 times higher. Plus, we are also getting a new AI accelerator, which I'm assuming would take off the load from the CPU and the GPU when it comes to AI-related tasks. Although at this point, it isn't quite clear as to what these may be. My guess is that it will be up to the developers to actually make use of this AI accelerator. A custom machine learning architecture, once again pointing at Sony's interest in building support for AI in the PS5 Pro. The PS5 Pro might be the first console to already have this hardware accelerated support for it. Now, aside from the CPU and the GPU improvements, it looks like we are also getting some memory upgrades. Now, the amount of memory seems to remain the same at 16 gigabytes, but the bandwidth is increasing to 576 gigabytes per second, up from 448, or by 28%, which, just like the PS4, had the same 8 gigabyte of memory, only faster by 23% in that case. Now, these specs look pretty promising, but what I think is by far the biggest surprise, Sony did have checkerboarded rendering on the PS4 Pro, some games even utilizing AMD's FSR, compete with FSR. And from the leaked documentation that Moore's Law showed us, Sony even had an example of how PSSR compares to FSR2. And at least from this, it seemed to be noticeably higher quality. It's not necessarily an accurate representation of the final result. Now, I'll get into what sort of benefits PSSR would give us in games in just a second. The audio processing unit inside a PS5 Pro is said to be 35% fast. Changes include a detachable disc and 1 terabyte of internal storage, matching those of the PS5 Slim. So what sort of actual performance improvements should you expect to see here if you're coming from a PS5? God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, and many others, they support 40 FPS quality modes if you have a VFR-enabled TV. Judging by the 45% faster rendering performance alone, an even newer leak shows that PSSR is especially targeting 4K 120 and also 8K 60. You'll finally be able to play PS5 games in 8K, something that was just not possible on the current PS5, despite the 8K branding on its box. First, do remember that the price for the PS5 Pro will likely be much higher. The PS5 Slim starts from $450, and that's for the diskless version. So I think the PS5 Pro will be $600, if not even $650.
Okay guys, so let's do more research into this. There are 2 types of PlayStation 5 Pro, PlayStation 5 Pro Slim and PlayStation 5 Pro Normal. There's no digital or disc edition. Well, they haven't yet given us a 360-degree view of both the PlayStation 5s, and plus, all these images are leaked, giving us early access to this information. So I can't guarantee if the PlayStation 5 Slim will have a disc compartment, but definitely due to its smaller size than the original PlayStation 5 Pro, it seems to be a little cheaper by price. Two things can happen here. Either the PlayStation 5 Slim is missing such a big compartment which makes it small, which allows it to be extremely cheaper, almost the same price as the PlayStation 5 Slim, or it just is missing some plastic and does not even miss some functions, and it's kind of the same as the PlayStation 5 Other Pro, and it's just the same price or just cheaper by a little bit of plastic. If you ask me, then the PS5 Pro does not differ that much from the original PS5, rather in experience. I mean, it does have a great red texture look, but who needs that? You can anyways play God of War and other games, and then your PS5 will anyway give a good red light. Though I mean, it does not look like anything special coming up. This news just came out, so stay tuned for more videos. But what did you think about it? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you tomorrow.